All right, everyone. Welcome back to the 307
Whoa.
307 Project podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us. You never know who you're going to get on the 307 podcast, and today it's just me and Young Biscuit. You guys seem to enjoy it so much when Brooke comes on the podcast. I think that she could probably just have her own podcast if she wanted one, but she stays too busy, so every now and then she gets to drop in and contribute to the conversation, and I'm thankful for you, Biscuit. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
As I thought through what we could talk about today to bring some value to people, and, you know, kind of the last episode was just a bunch of banter, so I figured we might want to talk about a topic that might could help someone out or at least provoke some thought. And the topic that came to my mind was, I guess, mitigating or trying to eliminate or overcome or work through stress and worry and anxiety in our lives. And, you know, I would like to think everybody could relate to this topic.
Heck yeah. I do want to banter, like if you want to introduce it and then a little bit of banter.
Yeah, that's fine. But I just thought there's no one I could think of better to bring on the podcast to talk about managing daily stress than you, baby. Yeah. You've tried it all.
I'm a freaking expert at this topic. Or I'm an active seeking expert at this topic.
Yeah. What brings stress on you? Like, what stresses you in life or brings on anxiety and stuff like that? I mean,
so I was thinking about this on the way here. First, can I just give an update real quick before we get into it?
Oh yeah, go right ahead, Sweet Pea.
So we talked about the bidet last time. I finally got the courage to use it, and now I'm obsessed. And I just wanted to tell everybody that they need to get a bidet.
I almost went there in that bathroom and used it today.
You should. What can turn into a 5-minute wiping session where you just never get clean? Turns, and you know what I'm talking about, turns into a quick squirt, one swipe, clean as a whistle.
Man.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah, I think you're on to something, boo.
Yeah.
It was really easy to install, too.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, there's nothing to it. I mean, even I could do it. If I can do it,
yeah, that's
anybody can do it.
Wait, where does the water come from?
The same line that feeds the toilet.
Okay, but
yeah.
it's its own line, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's super easy.
I got to thinking, I was like, dang, Pop's probably rigged this thing up ghetto because he was lazy, and I got toilet water squirting to my butt.
It had everything in there to, look at that. We got a visitor out there. You missed it. It had everything in there to hook it right up. Didn't even have to go to Home Depot.
Dang.
Which is a plus for me because I hate Home Depot. I cannot stand that store.
Why not?
I just don't like the big box stores.
Oh.
Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, of course, is the worst ever.
Walmart will suck your soul and the life right out of you.
It draws in the dregs of society somehow.
It is one of the most miserable places on this planet. Every time I go in there, speaking of stress.
I agree.
It'll stress you out simultaneously.
I don't know how your mom does it.
Oh, my parents love Walmart.
Well, yeah. Well, your dad loves it because he might get a deal.
Yeah.
He might get a deal there.
You remember that one time I just started working at the shipyard? I know Dad will listen to this. And he said, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, man, I could really use a really nice multi-tool. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll get that. And so Christmas morning, I open up my gift, and it's an Ozark Trail Walmart brand multi-tool that will barely even open. It's so freaking ghetto. And I was like, Dad, is this Walmart brand? And he said, yeah, but I got you another one upstairs that's Gerber. Let me go get it. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And then he went up, he got his personal one,
yeah,
which was a Gerber, and gave it to you and acted like he was going to give it to you anyways.
Yep, Walmart brand.
Ozark Trail is one-time use gear only.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and the one time that you use it, it's probably just barely going to work, or it may not work.
And the Walmart brand food, don't freaking get me started, man. Some of that stuff is
Great value.
great value bread.
It's great value.
Just hearing it upsets me.
I don't know. I guess, I mean, where would all these people that go to Walmart, I mean, where would they go if there wasn't a Walmart? I mean,
That's true. It does keep the coals all in one spot, doesn't it?
yeah.
That's true.
I won't go to Walmart unless the only way I'll go into a Walmart is if I'm traveling and I'm somewhere that I don't know where, things are at, and I need to get something specific, like some batteries or something.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'll go.
Smart.
I've banished it from ever intentionally donning the doors of that place.
Oh, we could go down the rabbit hole of how un-nationalistic, I know there's a better word.
Un-American.
Un-American, yeah. They don't support America at all in any way.
No.
But that's a deep rabbit hole.
Well, it is wild to think that it hasn't really, since we've been alive, it hasn't been that way. But, like our grandparents' generation, everything, all the hardware stores, all the grocery stores, all the restaurants, everything was owned by individuals that were members of the community.
Yep.
Right? It's like my grandparents, they owned a hardware store. And like, that wasn't a big deal. Like, somebody had to own the hardware store in the town. And my grandparents on my mom's side, they owned a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like,
and they can make a living doing it.
Yeah, they can make a living. They weren't trying to get rich, but they owned a hardware store to just make a living. And oh man, I mean, there's very few shops like that now. We try to utilize them. I went to the bookstore today.
Yep.
I don't go to Barnes and Noble bookstore.
Mm-mm.
I go to Dogwood Books.
Yeah,
on Broad Street.
We're very particular about small business and supporting local, and
it's the same guy that works in that bookstore, right?
Oh, he's wonderful.
That's all he does. That's his passion. Mm-hmm. He ain't making a lot of money. I don't even know how he pays for rent in the building there. But I walk up to the door. It's 9:45. He doesn't open till 10. And I poke my head in the door. I'm like, "Hey man, I'm a little early. You care if I come in and grab some books?" He's like, "Hey man, if this door's ever unlocked, if it's unlocked, you just come in. Do what you need to do."
Barnes and Noble, you would be at the door at 10, and at 10:01, some freaking teenager would be
10:05.
Yeah, 10:05. Some teenager would look at you through the door and then walk over and check their phone one last time, and then come unlock the door.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits to staying small.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but, another thing, but you got to think of this, that there are conveniences now. I think that's the thing. Even we, as much as we try to shop locally in small businesses and locally owned and stuff like that in our, day-to-day, face-to-face interactions, we wear the old Amazon out.
Yeah, but
we wear it out.
Amazon carries, we know people who have products on Amazon.
Well, that's a good point.
Like, you can buy from big chains, or you can buy, I'm not saying it's no Etsy, but I don't think it's as bad as Walmart. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people hate Amazon because apparently that whoever owns Amazon is a
you don't know
globalist type of guy or whatever, but I don't know. I know one thing about Amazon, they do provide a good service.
And they have good customer service.
Yeah. When you order something from Amazon, you get it in like 2 days.
Yep.
It's crazy. I mean, Walmart ain't got no service.
No.
So
Pops is putting in his fake dip.
Yeah, this stuff has been great, actually.
He's on the road to quitting completely from nicotine.
Well, I haven't had any dip Copenhagen in a long time now.
It's been months.
shoot, this fall it'll be going on a year.
Dang.
So, but I've still been using nicotine with those little nicotine pouch things, and so now I'm working my way off of everything.
You should just, on the paddle trip, you should just not bring any nicotine and allow.
Do you realize how bad that would be for that team?
Let me finish. I was gonna say to let your agitation just out on the paddle team.
Oh, that would not be good for them.
I'm sure chili could be your punching bag, and then the team could take the small portion.
No, let's not go down that road.
Oh, so what about stress?
Well, I asked you a question. What brings stress on you? Like, because it's something that it's something that we all deal with, not just something that you deal with.
Yeah,
I dealt with it this morning. Look,
Yeah.
I experience the most stress in terms of like anxiousness or that tight feeling in your chest and all this in the morning. It's really weird and it's on days that I know I have things to do.
right.
Because I did a little video on this on YouTube the other day, but with YouTube you only get to talk for like 10 minutes. The videos have to be short.
Yeah.
But that was one thing I talked about is when I wake up in the morning, my mind always wants to jump way ahead in the day to whatever it is I've got to do that day. Like, hey, I got to go record a podcast today. I've got to get my workout in. I got to go to pick up these maps and all this crap. And it just will totally destroy your morning if you can't, reset from that.
Rein it in.
Yeah, if you can't rein it in, yeah. So I had a little bit of that going on this morning.
I wrote down, first I want to say, what is stress? Like, what causes stress, right? And it's when your nervous system releases stress hormones, adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol, which rouse the body for emergency action. This could be your heart pounding, muscles tightening, blood pressure rises, your breathing quickens, your senses become sharper. Does that sound right to you? For you? Upset stomach?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just racing thoughts?
Well, it's weird to think, is stress the same as like anxiousness?
Yeah, it's the same.
What about worry? Maybe it's different, huh?
I think the physiological response is the same.
Okay.
But I think your mindset on it is different. And I want to talk about, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. But to answer your question, I have a couple different types of stress that I was able to name on the way over here. Stress that I can name, stress about something coming up, stress I can't name, which is the freaking bane of my existence. Stress about worldly events and circumstances, or healthy stress. And those were like the ones that I thought for me, I experienced the most and I can identify with.
Dang, you came prepared.
Well, I was thinking about it on the way over here, but I was also thinking about how different our personality types are and how different we stress. Me and you.
Yeah.
Like, our stress looks so different.
Yeah.
Like you don't ever you don't ever seem bothered by your past. That doesn't ever seem to bring you any stress.
Yeah. I'd say, I don't know if I don't think you could say I'm never bothered by my past, but it isn't one of my main things that kind of rears its ugly head on a regular basis.
Would you say the main thing is like what you just talked about? Like day to day, you have a lot of things pile up all at once. Is that when you kind of look back on the last year, is that what you stressed about the most?
I think, yes, it's that, and it's also like the worldly stuff that's going on. Yeah. The frustration and but day-to-day stuff, it's strange the life that I have been thrust into living here, because I think you can vouch for this. I don't really like being around people. Don't like talking to people. Don't enjoy social gatherings. I'm a bit of a hermit type of a savage type of a person that would rather just be hunkered in the woods somewhere, hunting an animal or doing something very simplistic or primitive. And so, yeah, I think that's why the day-to-day things do stress me out, is because so much of what I do day-to-day is engaging people, speaking to people, coming up with content, or, working in front of a camera or in front of a microphone, or all of that is so opposed to who I've been for my entire life up until just this last 2.5 years. So it's been a huge shift for me, being called into a purpose that is not who you would naturally be. I mean, yeah, so maybe that's why the day-to-day stuff gets to me, weighs on me so heavy.
I think, too, some of that, like, do you ever have days where you feel stressed and you can't name exactly what it is? Or can you usually name it?
Yeah, I could usually put my finger on it. Yeah. Yeah, I could usually. I was trying to think of an example. I mean, I definitely have what you would call bad days.
Yeah.
Where but that's not necessarily a stressful day.
Yeah.
So,
I think everybody, I mean, you were an extreme case, but I don't think any of us were naturally built for the capacity to maintain the level of, it's not even a real social life. It's like a false social life that we all have to have. Not have to have, but it feels like you have to have it to make money and have friendships and have relationships with your family. And man, it's a lot. It's a lot of people needing a lot of things from you.
Yeah, it is. And it's constant too. It's like I was doing stuff yesterday and I got more phone calls than usual yesterday. And of course I didn't answer any of them unless it was from you or Blake. But I was like, just that constant nagging. Like, even if I don't answer the phone, it's just a nagging all the time. There's always crap coming at you, man. And I agree, and this is a theory of mine, I guess. I can't prove this, but I believe that we are living lifestyles that are so far outside the boundaries of how we as human beings were created and specifically designed to live, that has got to be a huge contributing factor to the deterioration of mental health, if you want to put it that way.
I agree.
So, when I look back and see how you say, well, how was man created to live? Well, right here, it's interesting. I think we can look in Genesis and gather a lot of how man was created to live. And I hope you guys know this. We were created to live close to the earth and to care for the earth. And here, just in Genesis, I think this is chapter 2, verse 15, the Lord God took the man out and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. All right? And to harvest from it, right? And to care for the earth. And then also, shortly thereafter, God said, well, it's not good that man's alone. And so he said, let me make a helper comparable to him. And so there we see humanity was made to care for the earth, harvest from it, live with it and in it, but also to be in companionship, to be in community with other humans. It's not good for man to be alone. And so we're way outside the boundaries of that now, man.
Yeah, we
like
are.
our design, and even someone like Brooke and I, people like Brooke and I, that we do spend a lot of time outside, and Brooke's an amazing gardener and tending to plants and things like that, which is a tremendous help, I think, in terms of you getting back to how you were created and designed to be. But even people like us, we're still way outside the boundaries of how it should be. We stay contained in four walls and, with a roof over our head and climate control and shoes and
fluorescent lights
and all this stuff, right? And then the community that we have now is even, it's not natural. I mean, when you look back at the rest of human history and, more primitive cultures, they truly lived in community. Like, they didn't each have their own little separate piece of land. Like, hey, leave me alone. This is mine. They couldn't just run down to the grocery store. Like, they lived in a legitimate community where each person depended on one another to stay alive. And they took care of the elderly, and everybody, helped raise the next generation up. And it's not, even if we say we have community here, right? But it's so spread out, and we still live so much like little individual units,
Mm-hmm. And so that speaks to one of the things I wanted to mention. I'm jumping ahead to how you and I deal with stress, but you just said it, is something that's been really useful for me is community and having relationships with people that I trust and that I'm willing to come to in a vulnerable way and share hard things. And I want to speak to the fact that doesn't always feel right. Like, when you're stressed or you're dealing with a mental illness of some sort, my instinct is to isolate. That's just what I go to. Like, I don't feel well. My brain doesn't feel well. I'm not controlling this. I'm not happy. Why do I want to go out and be around people? But that's where that vulnerability and the trust aspect comes in, where you can show up with these people not all right, and I think that helps me tremendously with stress, is just having that network of people. And now that's a lot of work too. Maintaining a community and staying engaged with them is not, I guess it depends on the person, but it's work. Mm-hmm. But it's so worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have that too in my life. I don't know that I utilize it as smartly as you do, though, because I'm the same way when I get when I'm stressed about something, or I want to
push everybody away.
Yeah, I just want to isolate too. Yeah, I don't want to. But here's the thing. I say that, but most of the time, what I mean by isolate is I don't want to talk to people virtually. I don't want a phone call. Like, I'm not, when I'm in those modes, I'm not nearly as opposed to spending time with those people,
Your close group.
my tight, my community, if it's face to face.
Yeah. That's you all the time, though.
Man, I remember just when we were growing up, you know, our old house over off of Red Mountain Road. I don't know if you remember, but
I remember.
People were always just in and out of there.
Yeah.
Like the way we grew up, if you were part of our Red Mountain Militia.
I was just about to say the militia.
Like you didn't call and ask if you could come over. You didn't call and ask if you could come to dinner. Like you just showed up, man. You that's how that place was. I mean, people would just come in. I mean, not random people, but you just came in. You could eat dinner. Brandon could drink all of the milk, and you know, if we weren't sitting on the porch, we were out hunting or riding 4-wheelers or doing something. I mean, it was just I don't know. It was a great way of life. People don't do that anymore. Maybe that's our fault. Maybe that's our fault. I don't know.
we don't have, and I think that's more me, but we don't have that open door policy.
No, and I guess that's a good thing that mom and dad did back then. They created that environment.
They did.
In that house to where people knew that but what that did back then, what it created that I don't have now, is it created the scenario where you spent more time with people that you cared about face to face than you did on the phone with them.
Yeah.
And now it seems like I spend more time with people I care about on the phone than I spend with them face to face.
Yeah.
And it's really been bothering me here lately. Yeah, I mean,
last 3 years, 4 years.
Well, especially here lately. I don't know. It's really been bothering me. I want so badly to get out from under technology.
You're getting real sidetracked on the stress conversation.
I know. But I think that's what causes a lot of stress, so that's why I was going.
No, I totally agree. I think lack of community is a huge factor in everybody being stressed.
Yeah.
And isolation, and you're not, I think you're onto something. I just didn't want to let you get on a cell phone tangent.
Oh, I
because
know.
we would be here for forever.
Yeah, I know.
What else do you use to manage stress?
Well, I didn't even know we've been talking about that yet.
Well, so you talked about community in the Bible and how people have lived, and then I went into community using as a tool to manage stress.
Uh-huh.
And then you try to go off on a cell phone thing. So coming back to how people lived, is there anything, am I going too fast for you?
No. I mean, I think we'll talk about the tools that we use and have used that work. I mean, the most recent one, I think that is just huge for me, like an absolute game changer. And I know a lot of you guys listening think this is freaking silly, but it's the sauna, man.
I don't know how they could think it's, because I genuinely thought it was kind of silly too.
I thought it was silly as crap my whole life.
I know you did. Yeah. And then I love the Huberman Lab podcast. I freaking love it. I have named Dr. Huberman Rhubarb. That's his nickname. So that's what
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
That's what I call him, is Rhubarb. And Rhubarb did an episode on heat therapy. And I don't know why I trust this man, but he was pulling out some peer-reviewed studies on heat stress and heat shock proteins and the effect on the nervous system. And whoa, it was wild. You listened to it?
Yeah, I listened to it. But the interesting thing is, I had been doing the sauna for months before I listened to that, and I didn't need his science to tell me that. But the cool thing was that everything that I had learned through experience lined up with what he was saying from a scientific standpoint.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
It is cool.
But that's been just an amazing part of my evening routine, is adding that in there. I mean, I will forever have a sauna. wherever we move, wherever we go, even if I have to build jerry
I was about to say, as long as we're not broke as crap.
Yeah, I mean, even if I had to freaking build one out back, like I will forever have one because it's such an amazing tool at the end of the day. I think it does a few things. Obviously, there's the science that tells you what it's doing physiologically. But I think another thing that extreme temperature does is it forces me to be present. Mm-hmm. So when you get in there, when you first get in there, it's not, you can think about other things, right? Your mind's still running. Well, after about 15 minutes,
8 minutes. Try 8 minutes.
Yeah, after about 15 or 20 minutes, you cannot think of anything else because your body is freaking out. It's like, because it doesn't know that you can. I was telling Brooke this yesterday. I said, your body doesn't know that you can just stand up and walk out of this thing at any time. It's freaking out. It's like, you got to get out of here or you're going to die.
Yep.
And so I think that's one big thing. It makes you, at least gives you a moment of hyper presence, right?
Yeah, and you could go deeper into that as a distraction from your current thoughts, but also practice in de-escalating that stress response. I mean, every time you get in there, you're learning how to get really stressed, because I've felt that and it does feel awful. And you're learning how to bring that back down.
Yep.
But don't let me derail you.
No, that's a good point.
So right now you're doing, just in case someone has a sauna, and I think it does vary for everybody, and you have to be super careful in the sauna, but you're doing between 180 to 200 degrees, and you're doing what, like 10-minute rounds?
No, I always switch it up. I mean, here recently I've been doing longer sits in the sauna, but just one. And so like last night I did 25 minutes at like 175 or something like that.
Yeah.
178. And but that I just listen to my body. Yeah. If I get in there and it's like crazy hard and I've had a long day and sweated a bunch that day, then I'll do shorter rounds at maybe a higher temperature and maybe do it 2 or 3 times. I think you just have to listen to your body. I mean, I'm all about that. I mean, a lot of you guys don't understand what that means.
I can't in the sauna. In the cold plunge, I can listen to my body.
Yeah.
In the sauna, 4 minutes in, I feel like I'm dying. Like if I listened to my body, I would get out like immediately.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
But maybe since you've been doing it for months, that's where that comes into play.
Well, that thing tends to melt a lot of the stress away from me that maybe piles up throughout the day. It does a really good job of it, and it sets me up for a good night's sleep, which is, I think, another good thing that we do to help mitigate the effects of stress. Is we are very, very adamant about our sleep.
Very. Almost to a fault.
And sorry for all you guys that have kids.
I was thinking the same thing.
Sorry about that.
I was at like 9:58, just freaking walking around, getting in bed to read for a little while. It's so quiet in the house. And yeah, no, I agree. I think that I was going to say that. I was going to say, for me personally, sleep, exercise, and nutrition hygiene are huge for me for stress. And I think some people, those things don't really, or they don't know, or I don't know. I think everyone's different. I just know some people who don't really care for those things and they don't seem stressed. But a lot of my stress, it's like a bodily reaction more than it is. So there's two things. I want to tell you that it's a bodily reaction more so than it's coming from something. But I think the truth is I haven't gotten good enough yet to identify where my stress is coming from. So some days I just wake up and I just feel all of the symptoms I read at the beginning of this. You know that.
Yeah.
And just heart racing. My vision is narrowed. I just don't feel well. Like I just can't. You know that really nice place in your mind when you get to daydream about things and you just kind of float around in your daydreams and you're not aware of yourself? Like,
maybe some of the listeners know about that. I don't know.
You
about
do
it.
too. You do it all the time. That's why you're a terrible driver. That's why
I'm always scheming on something.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, you're not aware of yourself. You're like outside of yourself and you're in your thoughts. You're not in your head, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah. You're scheming on something else.
You're aggravating me.
Sorry, I yeah.
What was I saying?
You were talking about some mornings you get up and you just...
Yeah, I don't have the capacity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't stop thinking about the way I feel, or my brain catastrophizes things. And when I think of scenarios, I think of the worst possible one. And it's something that I'm working through now. But that type of stress is the hardest stress for me.
You know, it's interesting that you just mentioned that, how your brain is always considering the worst possible scenario, or many times is considering all these potentials for catastrophe or things going wrong and this and that. And when I did this video on YouTube about controlling fear and anxiety and stuff, which, by the way, the third one will come out next week, I think, next week. It'll be the last one in the series. But a lot of the people were commenting in there how true it is that we create so much worry and stress for ourselves that is not even real.
No, of course not. And
that's crazy, man.
Well, it makes sense to me. It's our brains trying to protect us from what could happen. But where the times we live in now, it's kind of useless most of the time.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, I think last night or the night before, something I've started, I'm really, like, I love the sauna as a tool. I love the cold plunge as a tool. I love herbs as a tool, safe herbs, like L-theanine and valerian and like good stuff.
Yeah.
But in this season, I have really tried to focus on dealing with stress internally. Like, I don't want right this moment, I want to maintain my normal stuff, but I don't want to turn to something outside of myself right now to deal with my stress.
That's probably smart.
I
always.
want to. Well, I think if, like, you are in a good place with stress. Like, stress doesn't really mess up your life. It doesn't mess up our marriage. You maintain a really good balance with work. So I don't think there's anything wrong with you using the sauna. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, I've been in a season where stress has really affected me in my life. And I think that turning to outward things is just prolonging the work that has to be done. That being said, what we were just talking about, how, like, I'm going to give y'all an example. Like, the other day, I was standing in a parking lot talking to my friend, and this is I'm not even going to say that. Talking to my friend, and her daughter, who's like 9 or 10, was running around beside us in the parking lot. And this is not a busy road. Like, it was not a stressful, dangerous situation. It was a very chill situation. And her daughter is very smart. But my mind, as I'm staring my friend in the eye, listening to her tell me something, plays out her daughter going over to the road, going into the road, getting hit by a car, and then the next probably 20 minutes of me kneeling down by her daughter and trying to protect my friend from seeing her. And then by the time I realize what's happened and that I've been stuck in this scenario, like, I'm already affected by it. It's already changed the way I feel.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I was talking about on those days when I just wake up and I'm just in that mode of alertness. That's what happens. And it happens all the dang time. Mm-hmm. And you're stuck in it. And so you give yourself these little traumas throughout the day by just going through these scenarios in your mind and picturing things happening to people you care about. So
now that doesn't happen to me. I don't have to deal with that.
Well, you're lucky. What I have been doing for that lately that I really think has been working. is I'm also getting quicker at catching it before it gets down the line. Like if I'm getting quicker at notifying my brain, like, whoa, we don't want to go there. And I've been letting it ride out. I'll be like, okay, go ahead. People are going to think I'm so crazy. Go ahead and let this play out. So I let it go to the end. And then I reset up the scenario in my head and visualize the best outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just leave it. And I leave the thought. And the only other people I've really heard talk about struggling with this are a lot of women with their own children. I've heard a lot of women who can identify with having like really not good thoughts about bad things happening to their kids.
Visualization is a powerful tool.
Yeah, visualizing, it almost overrides the trauma or the nervous system response that comes from, thinking of that worst case scenario and playing it out in your head.
Mm-hmm.
When you play out, visualize the good thing that's going to happen, how she's not going to run in the road, and she is playing in the parking lot happily, and we're going to finish our conversation, and they're going to get in the car and leave, and you visualize everybody happy in the car,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get why you struggle with that, though. I think more so than I do, because it goes back to the very beginning of our relationship when your dad said, she's a caring thing. She cares. You do. You have this instinct, this gift to really care for people and be hyper aware of the well-being of other people. So I think maybe sometimes you can get hyper focused on those things. And
oh, big time.
Yeah.
Hyper focused on other people's emotions too, which is also something that I have to work through to find peace. Is I'm not responsible for how other people feel, and I'm not responsible for making everybody feel important. And
well, I've been the last few days since I've been considering that how much of the stress and worry we experience in life today we manufacture. Mm-hmm. I've been auditing myself throughout the day from day to day, because this is a stressful, in quotation marks, time for me, because we've got our biggest mission ever coming up. And I want it to be awesome.
Yeah.
And it will be awesome. But I've been auditing myself, not just on that, but on everything that if something starts to well up in me and cause a little tension, I'm like, is that real? Like, I'm creating this right now. I'm creating the feeling. I'm like, hey man, I've got a refrigerator full of food. I'm healthy. I have a home. I like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been intentionally auditing myself on all those things I'm creating for myself.
I think too, that's a good segue into talking about, I do want you to share how you felt like you were nuking everything and stress and how you came down from that. But I think our culture and our society demonizes stress so much. And I think that stress could be what you just said, tension, adversity, pressure. Those things aren't necessarily positive or negative. Like, I think a lot of amazing things have happened when people were under stress. Mm-hmm. And for me lately, another thing I've been trying to do is change my mindset on stress. Like, I think some of your stress this week has propelled you to do a lot of really awesome things to prepare and make this trip amazing for your students.
Yeah.
I mean, you need those stress hormones to get you moving a lot of times.
That's a really good observation.
Yeah, I think we as a society in our culture, I don't know about other countries, we're taught to think that if we're stressed, we've got to calm ourselves down. We've got to get rid of this stress. And it's like, what if we were to, and I think there needs to be a healthy gauge of like, okay, I'm feeling this pressure. I'm feeling these symptoms. I'm kind of feeling a little antsy. Is this something I can use for good?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? If the answer is yes, roll with it. Like we talked about in the last podcast, stress can be good for your immune system if it's short term.
Yeah, yeah.
Short term meaning hours to a day, no longer than a few days. But if it's bad, yeah, you need to do some digging or use one of your tools, exercise or sauna or meditation or prayer
or visualization or
but I think we write off stress as something we need to get rid of immediately, and I think for me personally that's not always the case.
That's a valid point. I will agree with you on that 100%. Yep. You mentioned prayer as a tool. That's something that definitely helps me tremendously too, especially in the morning time when I'm feeling anxious about whatever the day holds, is carving the time out in the morning to actually spend some time in prayer and not feel rushed and do it intentionally. Like, don't utilize the time you spend on the toilet in the morning to say your prayers. Like, because have you not caught yourself doing that? Like, I really should pray this morning
or
because
driving.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do it intentionally and two, for me personally, I'm not I guess I don't know if it comes natural to anybody, but naturally I'm not a person that prays a lot. I feel like I have constant awareness of Christ and my relationship with the Creator and constantly seeing Him and all that is around me and the beauty that is around me because of the beautiful place that we live and the nature that we live in. But it's difficult for me to carve out intentional time for prayer. It takes effort, but it does help me. As much as I talk about reading Scripture in the mornings, how that helps set me up for a good day, because it is the bread of life. We need this. It feeds us, but I think prayer is another thing that feeds us and sets us up for a good day and it relieves us of the tension that this life will bring.
Do you mind me asking what does your prayer like that would relieve stress, what does that look like specifically?
Yeah, usually it is I like to just praise Jesus and just thank Him, praise Him
out loud.
Yeah, magnify His name, glorify Him in my prayer.
What does that like just like using the word you're using? Like,
God,
I glorify you.
Jesus, you are the creator of all of this. Thank you. You are the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning. You've been here since the beginning. You are the end. You're the King of Kings. You are in control. And then asking Him, Lord Jesus, just make the paths that you have set for me before the foundations of the earth. You've made my paths, and just make them clear to me, so that I know I'm confident in how I should follow you and serve you today, and then just asking for mercy and for grace, and then I also have now began to ask Christ to teach me things like wisdom, to teach me meekness, to teach me to have grace with people. So instead of asking Him for these things, I've just been prompted that He would to teach me these things through the experience that He has laid out before me in life. You know what I mean? And that I am the student, and that I should be looking for these lessons and learning, and not just expecting Christ to impart them to me, for nothing.
Yeah.
But to teach me them.
Do you, when you're stressed and you're praying, do you say your stresses out loud, or is that just kind of something He's going to take care of?
Yeah, I don't don't necessarily say them out loud.
And I'm just asking because I'm curious. I think that I do say them out loud. I think everybody's different. Do you ever sit quietly after you pray and listen?
No, not really. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But not really. It's
Just
hard enough for me to be disciplined enough to just carve out the time to intentionally pray.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, it just depends. I'm not saying I haven't done that, but it's not something that is
whatever.
regular.
Yeah, whatever you're doing is working for you.
Another thing, the last thing I'm going to say on this, because we've been going for about an hour, and then I'll let you. What? And then
are you trying to rush it?
No, and then I'm going to let you go wherever you want to go. But
you're stressing me out.
Another thing that causes me a lot of stress in life. Have you ever had those days where you feel like you've been really busy and you feel like you've worked really hard, but you just didn't get anything done? It's like I don't know if any of y'all can relate to this, but I have days and have had many days in the past where I've just felt like I've been all over the place all day long, but there's no tangible evidence that I got anything actually accomplished. Like nothing is finished, done. I can check it off the list. Those days, I mean, are the worst for me in terms of stress. So every day, I intentionally try to at least attack a few things. I mean, at a minimum, one. At least attack one thing that I can do that needs to be done, and I can do it from start to finish. And so then that alleviates the chance for me having a day like I just talked about. That helps me tremendously. It's like at the end of the day, if I didn't get anything else done, I can at least look back and say, well, heck yeah, man, I finally plugged that hole in the tire of my truck and got the spare off the truck. You know what I mean? Or at least I got a good, solid workout in this morning. I made myself better in that way.
Yeah.
So just, obviously try to get more than just one thing done every day, but understand the way to prevent having one of those days where you're just scattered all over the place and spread thin and nothing actually gets accomplished. Just get a win early in the day. Just get one win early in the day that if everything else goes awry, you can fall back on that one win that you had that day. And so that helps me a lot.
I think that leads to something that I've noticed that will cause me stress, or a lack of peace is the better way to say it, is like, I feel like what you just said could be compared to like a purpose. Like, what was your purpose for that day?
Yeah.
And my job is like, my job can be feast or famine. And there have been a few short stints where I haven't really had anything to accomplish really concretely that I could look at and be like, man, I got that done.
Yeah.
And I'll notice that my stress goes up, which is weird because you're thinking, well, hey, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm just going to hang out with the dogs and go work out and have fun. But for us, I don't know if that's like that for everybody, but I hear you're the same. I don't feel good. Like,
man has to have purpose.
Yeah. And it can be the little things throughout the day. It can be a larger purpose. But I think a lack of purpose can just inherently cause stress and lead to worse things.
I know people with everything.
What?
I know people with everything.
What?
But no purpose.
Oh, you know people who have everything.
Yeah, I know people who have everything without purpose, and they struggle. I know I have met plenty of people in my life that way.
Yeah,
right?
I know who you're referencing right now, and that's a great example of someone who has everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've known multiple people throughout my life that worked their entire life, and acquired everything imaginable, and then
everything someone could want.
Yeah. And then the purpose all of a sudden goes away, and it's rough. So yes, man must have purpose.
Yeah. And I think that's a good, like, people who retire, usually people say they become depressed. Generally, in my experience, stress comes before depression. Stress and anxiety and that weird feeling and the push and the uneasiness and the anxiousness and there being a void and you can't figure out what it is. And the depression comes when you choose to disconnect from that because you think you can't fix it. You know what I mean? When you bow out, you're like, oh, nope, I'm not, this pressure is not going to force me into action. I'm just going to fall back. Yeah. Not saying that depression is not also caused by chemical imbalance, but I think purpose is huge for me personally too. And I don't think I know my exact purpose right now. Jeremy, our therapist, has me doing like a exercise that takes freaking forever to find I'm doing air quotes right now, to find my purpose. So I'll let you know how that goes.
That's important. I mean, at least you know what your passion is.
Yeah, and I've kind of come to that conclusion that, like, I think I would be okay. I don't know if you would, but I think my personality type would be okay with, like, every day or for this week or for this month, I have a purpose and I have, like, I don't think to be happy in this life, I need like a save the world, overarching, specific, like, your job is to rescue all the dogs that you can for the rest of your life. Like, I don't think I need that.
It's good to have.
We do need to do that though. I will have a dog rescue.
But tell the people what your passion is, boo.
You're my passion.
Yep, that's right.
And you say all the time, you say when I'm being aggravating or when I'm being mean to you, you say, babe, you need to pet your passion.
That's right.
Oh, we're so weird.
You got a good passion in life. That's good.
Gosh, there was more I wanted to talk about. Oh, I wanted to talk about mindset and stress. And
tell me what you got.
I saw you just look at the clock.
No, I'm fine.
You are pushing me.
I'm fine. I'm just trying to add a little healthy stress to you so you make sure you get to the point. The people like it when you get to the point.
Am I not getting to the point?
No, you are. Yeah, you're doing great.
I feel like I always do. You're the one who freaking rambles on about...
I'm sure most of the listeners would agree with you on that.
Everything. They love it, though. I don't get it. It drives me nuts. I do not understand why they like it. I'm sure
you're not the only one.
Oh, my gosh. I have noticed some flaws in my mindset. And I was listening to Rhubarb. And he had this lady.
That's Dr. Huberman, by the way.
He had this lady on who was talking about mindset, and shame on me, I don't remember her name because she was amazing. But if you look up his podcast and mindset, I highly suggest you listen to the episode with the lady. She was a gymnast and she's a doctor as well. And what really hit me was a couple of the studies that they brought up. And I'm going to paraphrase this because I will mess something up if I try to go into big detail. But they took it was the same group of people, and 1 week they gave them a milkshake and they said, this is a high fat, high caloric milkshake, not good for you, not healthy. So all the people drank it, and then they measured all of their like glucose levels, their ghrelin, like their hunger hormone. The next week they gave them the same milkshake, but told them it was a different milkshake.
Yeah.
They told them that it was healthy and like low calorie. And so they did the same measurements, same people, same milkshake, blind study. And their body's response to the milkshake, freaking mind blown, was affected by what they thought they were using, which I say mind blown. We all know placebo is a thing because it's real, because we are able to impact our body's response to things based on what we believe will happen. Right? Like one other one, they had these ladies, they were maids, hotel cleaning ladies, and they wanted to measure whether your mindset on exercise affects how the exercise affects you. But they couldn't really do that with real exercise because it just wouldn't work. People would know and it would affect it. So they did it with cleaning ladies, and they took 2 groups, and one of the groups, they told them that their job, well, first they interviewed them. Do you feel like you're physically active in your job? And almost all of them said, no, I don't exercise. I'm not physically active. They didn't view their job, which is very strenuous, as strenuous. And so they split the group in half, and they told half of the group that their job was strenuous, and they were using all these muscles, and they were following the Surgeon General's recommendation for exercise weekly times. And so they gave them all this information and told them that they were doing great things for their body. They came back 4 weeks later and did body measurements, like the composition and a bunch of other stuff. Moral of the story, the group that they told that job was strenuous had lost weight, built muscle mass, and like they hadn't changed anything. They hadn't started going to the gym. They just believed that what they were doing was strengthening them.
Wow.
And the other group didn't change at all.
You know, that's interesting, because my mind immediately goes to I wonder that those people, the housemaids that were told that what they were doing was good for them and healthy for them and all this that you just talked about, if they didn't start going about their job with more pride and vigor.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Because they're like, heck yeah, man, okay, this is good for me. I'm gonna take it up a notch. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to move faster. I'm just saying, you're right. I mean, either way, the mind affected that. If it was the mind,
yeah, you're right,
affected their response or whatever. But no, I mean, we can't even begin to comprehend how our mind impacts our physical body and even our perception of reality. I mean,
yes.
we can't even begin to comprehend it.
So in giving those 2 examples of how your mind can affect the way things affect you, I think there's power in that, in our triggers, like in the things that stress us out, and changing our mindsets on the things that stress us out and trying to take the power away from them.
Oh, that's solid. Yeah.
And I think that's possible, but I think it's a long-term game. I don't think it's something that, like, in 3 weeks, you know, if you're really scared of spiders, this is a dumb example, but they stress you out and you started visualizing yourself around spiders and you've started thinking about spiders in a different light and not allowing yourself to go to the phobia thoughts and visions. And I think still the first time you see a spider after you've been working on that, you're probably still going to have a stress response. Mm-hmm. It's going to take time and effort.
Well, I think I can see how I've kind of done that in my current job.
Big time.
So yeah, the things that I've told you guys so many times, like my faith and relationship with Christ is the only thing that props me up and keeps me driving forward. And so I think I have changed my mindset in terms of the things that I do that stress me out, that put me in front of thousands of people speaking or teaching or, you know, whatever, or even just creating content or videos and stuff like that. Those things that stress me out, I have changed my mindset as, well, hey, I'm not doing any of this for me or for my own benefit. I'm doing all of this to some way glorify God and point people to Christ. So I've changed my mindset. What is the purpose of this? And there it has affected the way those activities impact me positively.
Yeah.
So
you're just seeing it in a different light.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think one of the major things that's helped me recently is trying to change my mindset on stress. Because I don't know if you've ever done this. I doubt it. I will get stressed and then stress about being stressed. Because I'm like, you need to get unstressed. You need to feel better. You need to get happy. You have this coming up. You got to go talk to this person. You got to see your family.
Yeah.
Like, and I think changing your mindset about stress and its purpose is helpful.
Yeah. No, I know you do that. I don't do that.
You said doo-doo.
You do that. I've seen you do that. So yeah, changing your mindset about it and thinking about how, like you said, that short-term stress can actually be good for you physiologically.
Yeah.
And good for you in terms of productivity if the things that you're stressing about, you can actually take action.
Yeah.
And do something to influence that. So
real quick, I want to talk about, and I know, quit. Why are you looking at the time?
I wasn't. I was just doing my neck like this.
Oh, yeah, I'm
I
sure.
got a little,
and your eyes just happen to go to that 1-2 inch spot in the room.
I can't even see the timer from here.
Oh, you
I
can't?
don't know why you're so worried about it. You need to do something right now to mitigate your stress. Yeah.
What is the breathing called that Rhubarb talks about?
I just know 4x4 breathing, but I got a little crick in my neck for some reason today. So
you must be stressed. You know what that breathing is. It's
yeah, I don't know what that's called.
Yes, you do. You've said it before. It's the deep.
You're hyperventilating yourself?
No, it's the
the double inhale.
Yeah, double inhale, exhale.
Yeah.
I think, okay, so that's what I want to talk about. If you find yourself in a moment of high stress, you haven't experienced panic attacks, but I'm sure your stress has come to a head before where it's a little more intense than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about mindset. We're not talking about like long-term slow. I'm talking about like in the moment, you're super stressed. Something has got you revved way the heck up. What do you do? What are some tools you can use?
Yeah, I mean, I think most the three big ones that we were taught in early in SEAL training was visualization, 4x4 breathing technique, and managing your self-talk. So those are the three big ones that we were taught, and I still utilize all three of them.
4x4 breathing is exactly what I think. 4-second inhale, 4 second.
Yeah, it's called box breathing. So yeah, breathing techniques, visualization, which you've already talked about, and then controlling your self-talk or managing your self-talk, which you've already talked about too. I mean, those are all things I utilized throughout my whole career in the Navy when I was faced with really stressful times and scenarios and all that stuff, right? But I mean, the reality of it is when I look back on that period of my life, that season of my life when I was in the Navy, that job was killing me. Like, even though I did it and I could utilize these tools to actually perform the task that needed to be performed, it was just, that job was killing me.
What does that mean?
It was just too much stress. It was too much. It was too much, just dumps of adrenaline and exhaustion and terrible sleep and crazy hours, and you combine all that with the stress of the job. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any mitigating that. There's getting through it, but I don't think there's any doing that job and being able to be healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible.
I could totally see that. And that's why, no offense, but a lot of our military turns to alcohol and other things to cope because, my gosh.
Yeah.
You're not built to cope with that.
No.
Well, I agree. Visualization, breathing techniques, controlling your self-talk. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I use in the moment. I speak out loud and I pray.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, no, that's pretty much it. I think
those are good ones.
Those are all really good ones for like, but keep in mind, like if you're about to walk into a business meeting or a proposal or something that you have a lot riding on and you're stressed, again, a healthy amount of stress, if you're not overstressed, you're hyper focused. And if you calm yourself way down, you're not taking advantage of that hyper focus and that, like, you could benefit from that in those moments, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like
I do.
Yeah. If it doesn't go through the roof, I know there's a line where you get foggy and kind of weird, but
you should know when it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah. But how about like our society? It's like in media and movies and stuff, they depict like someone's walking into a big business meeting or they're about to do some crazy, challenging, physical, dangerous something. And they depict them like completely calming themselves and going into like a state of just zen. And it's like, no, that is not where you're going to perform the best.
Yeah.
Like, that's not reasonable. That's not what you need to do. Hold on, like, utilize that stress, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to fall asleep.
No. Jeez. Mindset. I feel like when we get done with this podcast, I'm going to be like, gosh darn it, why didn't you talk about blank?
Well, I mean, you can always come back on at any time, boo-boo.
You don't invite me very often.
You have a perpetual invitation to the podcast.
Well, I mean, you guys do podcasts every Wednesday and it's full. You only have this amount of mics and you have this amount of people.
Well, we can always bump Blake out.
No.
Well, I thought it was a interesting conversation, and
I'm just not sure it was applicable. That's my mind. Like, if someone listens to this that's in a high stress part of their life right now, are they going to pull things?
I got a ton. I mean, yeah, if you're in a high stress part of your life right now, first, I think, look at your lifestyle. Are you setting up the right space for you to get good rest, sleep, recover? Is your home, is your environment conducive to you, being able to relax and recover when that time comes? Do you have community? Are you leaning on them the way you should? Audit yourself on the things that you're stressing and worrying about that you're just creating for yourself, that you have no control over.
Can I put in that the narratives that you have about yourself?
Yeah.
To
audit
pay
yourself
attention
on
to
your
those
narratives you have about yourself. In the moment, we talked about visualization, breathing techniques, managing your self-talk, being aware of that, and using your spoken word to kind of drive that self-talk in the right direction. We talked about a lot.
Yeah. Exercise. Avoid sugar. By gosh, avoid sugar and fried foods.
That's
and
high
high fat
foods.
foods.
For me. I can eat all the sugar I want. I'm good.
Baby, you do not eat that much sugar though, so you can't say that.
Well, I eat ice cream
once a day in the
that's
evening.
true. Compared to what the amount of sugar most people intake, you're probably right.
You literally don't do sugar other than once a day.
And it's good ice cream too.
It's not good. That I think also the one thing we missed that I think helps us tremendously is spending quiet time, especially outside.
You got to get outside.
Yeah, I think if you're missing that, you're missing a huge part of what.
If I lived in the city,
I know
I couldn't function. Like there would be no mitigating it.
Yeah.
If I was in the city long term, no.
I agree.
Like, I don't say this as a joke. I would rather be homeless and live out in the country under a bridge or down by a creek or something, then I would be wealthy and be forced to live in a city.
What about a subdivision?
It depends on where the subdivision is. If I could like leave my subdivision and like go a mile down the road and be in the mountains, I could handle that.
Okay.
I'm talking about like in Atlanta,
Yeah.
or Austin, Texas, or like these cities. The crazy thing about them is okay, you can drive out of the city. You get 30 minutes out of the city, and you're in the suburbs where maybe you can find a trail or some nature, but crime is so bad. Like, it's like in Austin when we were trying to find trails and we drove to the trailhead and the entire parking lot was full of broken glass.
Yeah.
And it said, don't leave anything in your car because someone's going to break in your car while you're here. It's like you can't ever relax.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's mind-boggling to me how people live in these places.
Aside from the crime, just not being able to, like, say you're really frustrated with your family and you go sit on your back porch and all you hear is noise and have lights.
Oh, there's stuff that there's stuff that we don't even know what it's doing to our body.
Oh no.
The noise and the frequencies and the lights and the
radiation from all the electrical devices.
We don't even know what it's doing.
Don't get me started on that.
Yep. I don't know that we'll ever know. I don't think the world's going to go on a whole lot longer.
Surely, shut your mouth. Surely they've done some kind of study on people that live like out in the country away from light pollution and noise pollution and their health and longevity versus, well, that would probably be skewed because city people on average probably tend to be wealthier and eat a little better. And then your country people are out there, you know, they have a good environment.
Yeah,
but
there's so many factors that influence your
health
and how long you live. I mean, you could even, I believe you could even make a case that the amount of exercise that I do is probably unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can make a case for that, and it's probably a legitimate case.
I wish your parents were here to hear you say that.
Yeah, I mean, because you see, you know, you look at people who are healthy and they've lived a long life and they're still healthy. Like, what have they been doing for exercise? But you talk to most of them, they're like, "Oh, I walk every day."
Yeah, really.
I walk.
Though.
I've walked every day since I was 30 years old or something.
Yeah,
and yeah. So,
and we're over here CrossFitting 5 days a week and running
and swimming and all this stuff. So,
oops.
But that's all right. It's all good. Well, I always love it when you come on, Boo. I know I caused you a little stress during that episode, but you did well with it.
Oh, thanks.
I feel like we still like each other.
Oh, you're my passion. You know what's really stressing me out? This whole time we've done this podcast, you got a long hair in the very front of your head sticking straight up.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And when you're rocking, it's rocking back and forth.
That is so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you just look beautiful over there the whole time. So.
Nope.
Yep. As usual.
I don't accept that.
Always look so beautiful.
When are you going to try the bidet?
Oh, maybe.
So you can report back.
Maybe next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Why?
I gotta watch a few YouTube videos on it first.
What? Why?
I'm just joking. I don't know. We'll see, boo-boo. I'll think about it.
Okay.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, please share it with somebody that matters to you. That's the only way the show grows is if you guys share it with people. That's what I love about the podcast is it's really a lot of word of mouth growth. And I love you guys. Y'all are our most valuable people that we reach. You guys that tune into the podcast, week after week and have been doing so for years. I still absolutely love the podcast because it's a great place where we can have in-depth conversation. If you guys want to support us, please consider joining Patreon. Patreon is not a fan club. as many of you guys think it is. It's actually a place where you can support 307 Project, and it is a place where you can join us for 3 Sundays a month on a series that we do called Resurrected. It's a live call. We usually have somewhere between 30 and 50 people on the call every Sunday, and we bring a topic to the table. It's always going to be Bible-based, and we have a lesson, and then we have a discussion afterwards with whoever wants to chime in on the call. So it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a really good place to be. It's a really good community. It's not a fan club, but it does help us tremendously be able to do the podcast, because the podcast, it's the one thing that takes the most time. I've said this since the very beginning. It takes the most time, and it produces very little substance in terms of financial substance for the business. But I love it so much, and you guys make it possible that are supporting us on Patreon. So we appreciate you. It's always humbling, and it's an honor to be able to sit here in front of this mic and have these conversations and know that you guys hopefully get something out of them.
Yes, it is.
Enough said.